Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to learn and analyze a full Wes Montgomery solo. This solo is from the track Falling in Love with Love on the album Montgomeryland, released in 1958, later released to as Far West, so a lot of people might know it as Far West. Wes is playing with his brothers on this recording, Monk on bass, Monk Montgomery. Shout out to Monk for using a P bass. This is probably one of the first ever recordings featuring an electric bass jazz recording. But Montgomery on piano and Louis Hayes on drums. Incredible record. Please check it out if you're not familiar. Before we get started, I just want to say a couple of things about transcription in general and Wes. Ideally, before you transcribe a solo, you want to learn the rhythm of the solo first. You want to learn how to sing the rhythms with the metronome and be so familiar with it that you can just sing it, by heart. With the metronome by yourself, whatever. You're going to have to practice it a lot with the track, of course. But the reason for this is because you can have the best notes, the best phrases, the best ideas. But if you don't understand how to create music with rhythms and your rhythms are not lyrical, you're never going to sound good. So in this case, if you transcribe, for example, the rhythm of Wes's solo, it's a masterpiece of rhythm. Really, like everything makes so much sense just from the rhythmic aspect before we even play one note. So you want to do that first, ideally. The second thing I wanted to say is that everything we're going to be talking about here is not going to be scales. When I explain things, I'm going to be actually talking about chords because Wes doesn't really play from scales. He plays from chords. And this is one of the reasons I'm making this video, is to inspire my students and people to learn how to play from chords and really trust, what you're playing more, what's in front of your eyes and what you're actually hearing, instead of chasing scales to create lines. So that's going to be one of the big lessons. All right, let's get started. So there's a lot of moving parts. I'm going to do my best to put the chords on the screen and show you where we are, etc. But bear with me. The tune is very, very simple. 2 sections, A and B. Each section is 16 bars, and we're in the key of D flat. First thing Wes does is he plays this phrase, and he's paraphrasing the melody of the song. Right, so he just does that straight out of this chord, which is a D flat triad with a 9th on top. So he's playing straight off that chord. Then he goes, he's getting that note from this B flat 7 voicing, because we're going to tonicize 2 coming up. He gets that from this extension, which is the 5th of that. And then he goes playing off this voicing, which is the E flat minor chord at this point, on the 3rd bar pretty much. Then he goes, this is a really important part because this is his classic, I call it the Wes minor line, where he stacks minor triads apart by a 5th, perfect 5th, E flat minor, B flat minor, F minor, C minor, G minor, etc. So he gets this sound. You've heard that, right? So that's the Wes sound. Getting all of the pretty notes in that. So he goes, okay? So on the next 4 bars, we have E flat minor 7, and he's playing straight off that E flat triad there in second inversion. And I love this. I don't think the rhythm section isn't playing this, but he tonicizes inside that bar the 2 chord by going from that to its dominant, and he's looking at this voicing right here. That's why he goes. E flat minor, and it's 5. He might be also looking at this, which is one of the inversions of D diminished, which is related to the B flat chord with a flat 9. So, and then he goes, that's coming straight out of this chord right here, which for him he got by looking at these voicings And he's like, okay, there's a bass player in the band, so I don't need to worry about that. What do I have left? I have a G major 7 flat 5 chord. If you haven't watched my major 7 flat 5 chord video, by the way, check it out. I explain a lot of those ideas there. So, all right, so he's like, okay, this is a G major 7 flat 5. So he goes, but he's not really thinking any of this, right? He already practiced and went through all of this thought process, and he's just playing of these voice leading, these chords that are being voice led. Straight up that. And then he goes, he's going to alter the 5 chord. So he plays of this. And these are altered tensions resolved into that voicing, which is D flat major 7. Then he goes, incredible rhythm, right? You can tell how much he's actually thinking of rhythms and creating lyrical, beautiful melodies through rhythm. So far we got then he goes and this part right here, his cadence, this is pretty much the last bar of the first 8-bar section. It's just over a 2/5. He goes, so all of that is based of the E flat minor first, which for him, after looking at it and saying, okay, I don't need the bass. We have a bass player. This is what's left, so I'm going to play of that. And this is a G major 7 chord, G flat major 7. So for him, playing of E flat minor 7 means to play over G flat major 7. So, or anything that's branching off that idea of G flat major 7. For example, a G flat major triad, which he plays all around here. Approach to the third. What is this though? It's an A triad. And this is the kind of thing, again, that you can't really explain if you have a scale mentality only. At this point, we were on the 2 chord. He turned the 2 into a 2 minor 7 flat 5. Okay, he's getting these sounds. And the way he plays over minor 7 flat 5 is by, okay, he gets this voicing. There's a bass player. So he realizes there's an A major 7 chord right there. So he's like, can I play major 7 over minor 7 flat 5? Sure, on the flat 5, right? So he's going to start playing those ideas on those chords. Okay, so on the flat 5. And that's why he plays that right there, because he starts with regular minor 7, and then he turns it into minor 7 flat 5. And immediately after, he plays these 3 notes at the end, which are not really matching the A major 7 flat 5 or major 7 shape. So what is that? That's right at the point where he alters the A flat chord, and he's getting that from studying voicings like this. That showed you that when you get rid of the bass, you get this idea. And he's like, okay, this looks like C major 7 with a flat 5. So can I play C major 7 flat 5 on A flat 7? Sure. That's one of the ways to alter a dominant chord, right on the 3rd major 7 flat 5. But again, this is not crazy theory. It's just actually looking at voicings. What are voicings trying to teach you? So he's going to run those ideas on alter chords like that. Anyway, so he goes, which is the last 3 notes of that. 3 amazing parts in that line. 3 incredibly juicy sources for harmony. G flat major, then he turns that into A flat major 7 flat 5 because he turns it into a minor 2/5, like we explained. And then, so again. And then he goes. So he's just outlining the third there of the D flat major 7 again. Then he plays that 5 because we're going to tonicize 6 in the key now. There's a 2, 5 to 6 at this point. But he leaves you wanting that resolution. Right? Then he plays the cadence of the 2, 5 with this line. Perfect outlining there of this chord, which is a C minor 7 flat 5. For him, he takes the bass off that and he's like, okay, this is basically E flat minor right here. So he plays, he's outlining that, right? Root, passing tone, and then here he gets into this minor line. So, and then the 5, which is just F. Perfect full cadence. Because the harmony is going to keep moving and he resolves to a perfect minor chord, he tonicized that, right? He said, we're in B flat minor now. In order to make it feel like it's going to keep moving now, he turns the chord into minor 7. So he plays that A flat at the end of the next phrase. So again. Okay, so now we're going to go on to that E flat 7 chord, and he plays this. All of that's coming out of this voicing. Because for him, E flat 7, right, is this voicing. And he takes the bass off and he realizes, oh, this looks like a B flat minor, which is the same as D flat major, relative minor and major. And this is a flat 5. So can I play D flat major 7 flat 5 or D flat major ideas or B flat minor? Sure. So that's how he would play over that. And he plays this idea straight off this chord. Notice the flat 5 there. Here he goes, because we're going to an E flat minor 7 chord and we have about 2 measures of the E flat 7, he wants to create forward motion. So he wants you to expect the E flat minor 7 chord and he plays it up a half step so that you expect that resolution. Anyway, so right after this, right, which is creating tension to go to the E flat minor 7 chord, he resolves it to this note, and now he's going to play off the E flat minor chord. And he's playing that idea, which is basically outlining a G flat major 7 chord. Why? Because again, we already learned that he knows by taking the bass off that E flat minor 7 is G flat major. So he plays off that here. And now he's tonicizing inside that chord. Tonicizing, I mean, he's going to its 5 chord. So it's secondary dominant in this case, 5 of 2. He tonicizes it with the triad right here, briefly, always trying to create forward momentum inside the line. Right, so there's this voicing, and also this, because then he goes, so he's outlining this B flat alto chord here that resolves back to the E flat minor 7. All of that is the resolution, well, the alteration, right, of the 5 chord, the A flat 7. This is the 2. And that's the 5. There he's actually playing of this voicing, which is basically a 4 minor triad in the key. with, you know, the dominant of the key on the bass. So he plays F minor, you know, 4 minor to 1. Then he plays blues, straight up blues. Outlines the triad right after that with this great idea. Immediately after, we're going to a 2-5. So he starts outlining F minor, because we're going to tonicize E flat minor 7 coming up. So that part, incredible phrasing, right? Because he goes, so he's going F minor, and then he's going to start playing a little bit on, it's basically all F minor going into E flat. So there's not a lot of altered tensions there. It's just a melodic phrase going into the E flat minor. But you got to get that slide. So all of that is based on E flat minor, which he lines up with the minor line, like I said. And those are the fingers. Again, the fingers are connected to the sound, and they teach you things on how to phrase certain things in the language. So trying to use fingers that would be related to playing triads and chords. So anyway, and then he goes, leaves you hanging with that 5 there. Immediately after, he tonicizes the 5 of 2. So he plays over B flat. There's a ghost note there. It's just B flat, basically. Major, or 7. And then he's going to play over 2, cadence. So he's going to go. So that's the final cadence on the 2-5, E minor 7 flat, E minor 7 and A flat 7. So he's playing of the 2, which is the triad here, and then he outlined this line cliche perfectly. Major 7, he keeps going down the minor major there, or augmented, but then he finishes going back up to get that 7th again, right? So. Keeps going to outline eventually the 3rd of the dominant. So a lot of details inside the line to create tension and momentum with amazing articulation and rhythms. 3rd, how pretty, that octave of the 3rd there. So he goes to resolve the whole thing. And he's resolving to an F minor because, again, for him, D flat major 7, which is the tonic chord that we're going to, is F minor. These voicings are teaching you to play F minor. Okay, so that's why he plays. Right? Another thing, you know, like, he's not really altering all of those dominants. You can't in a ballad, right? Like, the idea is to play pretty. So that's a great lesson too in jazz. You know, we alter a lot of the dominants, of course, but you gotta trust your ears and try to use your ears to play melodies. And sometimes there's not even alterations to get those pretty melodies. And then he goes, let's see if I remember this idea. He's just approaching each note of the triad from a half step below, just to establish that key again. Then he goes, that's again on D flat major. Notice he skips the root. He's not playing the root of D flat because the root is redundant. He's playing mainly of F minor here, which he knows again from the voicing. And He leaves you on the fifth, expecting more right there. Then he plays this incredible idea. This is, to me, the highlight of everything, of the whole solo. So that idea, we're going to 6 at this point, right? And he's gonna definitely alter that F there. How? Well, he looks at this, right? And he's like, okay, over that chord, F7 sharp 9, flat 13, if I get rid of the bass, I get this chord. That looks like a A major 7 chord with a flat 5. And he's gonna play all of those ideas there. Also connecting that to the minor line on F, which is the relative minor. Gets you all of those notes too. So he starts with that, because he's starting. But there's also these 2 notes. Those he's getting from also looking at the diminished chord on the third of the dominant. So dominant 7, flat 9. There's a mixture of things. Then he gets this A major triad shape based again on discovering that he can play A major 7, flat 5, or A major. He's also very ambiguous and he branches out a lot. That's how he gets those really interesting notes. Not just Wes, but Miles does that a lot too. So that's, again, another reason. That's one way to get really interesting sounding stuff by looking at chords. So again. And then he repeats that down an octave and almost on the third octave too. He resolves the B flat minor, and then he goes line on B flat right there. All of this is on E flat 7. He's looking at this voicing. The band goes to a diminished chord briefly there. So he outline that idea. So all of this was E flat minor, and then the 5 chord. Final 2/5, A flat minor 7, and then A flat 7. So again, but really what really amazes me is how beautiful the rhythms are, you know, how strong the rhythms are. And then obviously the notes and the harmony on the solo are just incredible too. But if you transcribe the solo rhythmically and sing it, you'll realize how great it is already, just with rhythms. So anyway, right after that, there's a tag that they play. They go to pretty much, it's like a B7 chord going to a B flat 7 chord, so that they can play that 2/5 again, and then they're going to modulate for the sax solo. So over that tag, Wes plays. So he's outlining that B right there. And then he plays this monster line. Right? See if I remember. Something like that. No, that's pretty accurate. That's how I transcribed it. So all of that he's playing based on the B flat chord that he's alternating by playing this idea. And he's like, okay, if I get rid of the bass, this is basically D major 7. That's why he starts playing right off that. Once the B flat chord hits, he just starts already playing B minor, D major 7 ideas. That's the major 7. You don't get that with scales, or at least you don't arrive at those notes in that way, like with chords. Right? So he plays that, and he's just altering that B flat 7 idea, chord with that idea. Amazing. So that means, you know, you see him do that a lot. Like on a C7 and a blues, he'll play E major. Anyway, so from there, he goes 2-5 again, E flat minor 7 to A flat 7. So once again, the line cliche. This is based around the E flat triad. Okay, so right after that big line on the B flat chord that he altered, he's gonna play this idea to finish it off. And this is basically just outlining the E flat, and then he gets into that 4 minor chord, which is also outlined in a flat 9 for the dominant, and then a little bit of A minor because he's looking at this chord and he understands that, oh, there's an A minor triad there. That's where he gets that note from. Then similar idea than we saw before, with some chords and alter notes of the dominant there. He plays that at the end. Anyway, so the whole point here was to show you how much he's playing off the chords without needing to say, play this scale for this chord, play this curve for this chord, etc. If that works for you, great. But I wanted to show my students, because again, they're obsessed with scales, you know, and they ask me, what scale will you use here? How are you transferring to that? What are the notes for that? You got to look at chords. You got to look deeper at what chords have to teach you to play sweet sounding stuff that is well voice led and sounds like those guys would play. Anyway, so I hope this was helpful. A little bit of a long video, so I apologize for that, but this stuff needs time. It's not really a magic trick. It's not a quick thing. You got to go deep, and it takes time to learn and explain. So anyway, I'll see you guys on the next video.